There we go. All right, Coach, what's going on, man? Good morning. So you are, I think you're the record for the youngest coach I've had on the podcast. So I think that's something to be said about, right?
That's sweet, man. Super happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, I joke, but like, no one ever knows, and I'm going to ask you about this. We're going to talk about this a little bit. No one knows when your time comes, right? Like everyone always talks about like you'll know when it's time to stop coaching, right? But no one ever talks about if you know when it's time to start coaching. So we'll get to that. But again, let's keep my protocol a little bit. I always like to kind of stick to the script. First question I always ask everybody: talk to me about how the offensive line played a role in some of the better teams that you've been a part of in your young life.
Yeah, I obviously haven't been coaching for too long, but I've been playing all my life. So
Yeah,
been playing quarterback all my life, so I know how important offensive line can be, and I stick by it that it's the most important position group in all of football. I think if you have a position group that where you have the weakest link as an offensive lineman, it's hard to win a lot of football games. And
yeah.
I really have a lot of respect for the trenches and I think the difference it could be the difference maker between a championship winning team and a team that barely gets by.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can look at so I'm a Bears fan, right? And you can look at granted, obviously Ben Johnson coming in and all that kind of stuff, but like look at the strides they made just with the offensive line,
For sure.
helping them out, helping Caleb out, all that stuff. So yeah, I've done this podcast for 5 years now and talked to almost 200 coaches, and I don't think there's ever been a situation, not that I can recall, anyways. There's never been a situation or a coach that's been like, "Oh yeah, we had a really good team, but a really bad offensive line."
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
You don't have that. That
Yeah,
just it's not
yeah,
something that happens. Um, if it does, maybe it's small school ball or a real middle school football, I guess. But like very rarely does it happen at the higher levels, or even the more elite college high school levels where that can happen. So
for sure.
um,
Yeah,
to to hear from a quarterback that it's the most important position, though, that's
yeah.
pretty good for us.
It's like with the Bears, like your favorite team. I mean, they got the players and they use them correctly. I think that's also a big key is using the
Yeah,
play how they need to be used. Like Tooney, they use him really well,
yeah,
and it's gotten them so far, and their run game has been insanely good. So it's just
yeah,
yeah, offensive line is amazing.
yeah. And again, I don't want to lean too far ahead, but you pay attention to that stuff, and we'll talk about that next. But let's talk about your journey, man. Obviously, 18 years old, 19 year olds now, excuse
Yeah.
me, but young guy. How did you? I guess how did you get involved, and what was your moment of this is what I want to do? Give me the origin story, I guess, if you will. Give me the backstory to everything.
Yeah, for sure. So all throughout my high school career, I've been to a couple different high schools, but every single one has had a youth program, and they've
Hmm.
always had like youth camps. And I would always be the first player to volunteer. I would always love helping out the youth and helping them grow. And I think that's just something that I found really young that I just like coaching and I
Yeah,
like coaching. And so then fast forward to my senior year, it didn't go the way I liked. I don't think it was super fair, but I'm not going to get too much into that because the person who took my job, I love them and they're a great person.
sure.
But it really that me reflecting on that past season, it made me have a value for why I wanted to coach. I wanted to show that players who work hard still can get to become they can get to where they want to be. And I
Right.
know I worked hard and I know how much time and effort I put in. I never thought it got reflected on how I could do and how I played. But I it was a really big thing for me to to let other players who work hard like I did get to be able to succeed. And it was after my senior year. I was in the middle grounds of college football. I was texting other coaches and like I'm from the Northern California area, so Sacramento area. And
Hmm.
I was texting with coaches in LA, so that would mean that I would have to go like community colleges in LA. That I would have to go fly down there and live down there, and then I talked to the new varsity head coach for my high school Oakmont that I'm coaching at right now, and he
Okay.
said he'd love to have me on. It wasn't common for them to take high school old high school players because of the age, but
Right.
the athletic director really did like me, and he really wanted me to show what I can do, and I wanted to volunteer. I didn't even care about any money, any
Right.
stipend. Just wanted to get my foot in the door and wanted to start coaching. So that's kind of how it all started. And then I went. So my first 2 months of coaching, like a season, I started on the freshman level and then I went up to varsity. I was a freshman OC, and that first win was one of the greatest feelings I've ever had. That when that first win hit, because the freshman team the previous year had 0 wins, they scored 1 touchdown the entire season. So
Yeah.
us getting the win the first week and us scoring double the touchdowns just felt amazing to me.
Yeah.
And it really like it put it in cement that this is what I want to do. I all I want to do is just coaching. I love the game of football. I maybe can't play it, but I want to be a part of the game.
Yeah. I mean I know my situation in coaching is obviously everyone's journey is different, right? That's the beautiful part of what we do as coaches. So I got started real late. But after my second year of coaching, I was the uh did I do JV? No, I think my third year coaching, I started to do JV offensive coordinator, and kind of the same situation as you, right? The year before they were terrible, didn't do a lot, and I can remember not even just the first win. I can remember the first big play we had on a play that worked, and then the first touchdown. It was like,
Amazing.
oh, this is like again, kind of like you. It was like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I can do this, and it is. It's a little selfish, right? But we as coaches all have to have a little bit of ego to us. But it shows that you know what you're doing, A, and it shows that you know how to manage a game,
Yeah,
right? It
yeah,
shows that you're not just throwing stuff against the wall, seeing what sticks. You know your players, you know your kids, you know what works for them, and it like you said, it proves that it just sinks those meat hooks in even more that it's the right decision.
yeah. It's something that I felt just naturally comfortable, and I never had to force
Yeah.
myself. I never. It was just the perfect thing for me, and I just knew. Like I knew it didn't matter what the level was. I just want to coach, and
Yeah.
I want to help people improve, and it was an amazing feeling. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So now the school you're at, that's where you went to high school?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
the I graduated high school, and as I was graduating, we had spring practice, and I would right after school, I would go straight to the football practices and help coach. And
Yeah.
a lot of these players, the seniors, were the juniors on the previous season, and so
Right.
it was a bit of an uphill battle for me to kind of I don't know, it felt weird because I was coaching the players I used to play with,
Right.
and I think the hump that I had to get over was I didn't have to feel like I was the authority. I think I really just wanted them to if I had something to say, I wanted it to be meaningful, and I didn't want
Right.
to them around. I knew I was being called a coach, but I didn't want it to be known as I'm trying to boss them around and I'm
Sure.
like I wanted them to improve at the end of the day, right? Like I always want a successful season out of them. And I mean the quarterback who was I played with the year before, he was the senior quarterback, and he would consistently start asking me for questions, and he was always trying to learn. And I was just always invested in just trying to get them to be better. And I
Right.
wanted to feel like they were always scared to approach me, or but at the same time I don't want to be looked at as a friend anymore, because I'm not
Right.
tr- I'm not trying to do this for friendships, and I'm not trying to do this for the look how it looks. I'm trying to do this because I want to make some people better. And
Right.
if you joke around with me, that's cool, but I don't want to be looked at as, hey, like how you're like I don't want to be looked at as someone you can joke around with. I want to be looked at as someone you can look for if you need help with something. But
Right.
at the end of the day, it was just a hard hump to get over.
And I was going to ask you that, like, if you had any struggles with. I mean, there's plenty of coaches that are 25, 26 that are getting into coaching at the college they used to go to, and they have struggles. So, I mean, I'm sure there were probably instances where you kind of had to step back, but yeah, that's as a coach, it's the double-edged sword, right? You want the
Yeah,
kids to respect you, but you want the kids to like you too. You don't want to
yeah,
be the
yeah,
hard ass guy, but you want your kids to know that, like, hey man, it's time to get to work. Like let's
yeah.
let's let's knock it off. So I mean, for you to able to find that balance a little bit kind of in your first year is good because there's guys that have been coaching for 30 years that are still looking for that balance.
Yeah, it really took time. I mean, it's also the fact that I was dealing with high schoolers, and they're not always the most mature yet. And I'm not I'm fortunate to be able to grow up with a family who was able to direct me in a correct way where I wasn't
Yeah,
saying inappropriate stuff and getting myself in trouble. So it really helped that I was able to kind of just switch automatically into a different role, and I wasn't joking around with them. If the coach was talking, obviously I would make them listen because I'm not there to joke around with them because that's just a waste of their time and my time.
right. No, you want them to improve. I think that's awesome. I think that's
Yeah,
a testament to you as a coach, especially as an early first time coach. You want those guys to improve.
for sure.
Were there any? You don't have to get into details, but were there any situations where kind of the head coach had to step in this year and have a conversation? Maybe not with you, but maybe with one of the players and be like, "Hey, he's at the end of the day, he's still your coach." Or was it pretty positive for the most part all season?
It was there wasn't a specific instance where the head coach had to step in and kind of like get the player in check, but I think there were a couple of times where coaches had to remind some players that I wasn't someone to just be friends there to be friends with them, and I'm not a
Right,
player. That he never had it was never an instance where it was a back and forth between me and a player and they weren't respecting what I was saying. It was more of just how they treated me compared to other coaches. And I agreed with them. I don't want to be treated like a different type of coach. I want to be treated as the other coaches are treated. I'm
right,
going to treat them how I think I should treat them, and that's with respect and with like I just want to help you, but
right,
at the same time I don't want to be treated as a friend. So, and
right.
he did a great job stepping in, and it was super early on. And so once the season was starting in summer and the games were starting, it really started to roll and it started to it started to smooth out.
Good. No, that's good. It's again, that's awesome. That's still the struggles for any first year coach and for you guys to get through that's great. Is your role next year going to be the same? Are you going to be quarterbacks and then doing some lower level coordinating or
So
what's your role for the upcoming season?
yeah, so I'm super excited for the season. So this is our first. We have a whole new staff this season. This past season, sorry,
Right.
and we just came off of a season that my senior year it was super successful for our school. We got a home playoff game and that was amazing. It hadn't happened in like 20 years. And so a whole new staff comes in. There's low expectations, and we made playoffs and we got second in our league.
Right.
And I don't know how they do it where you're from, but the playoffs are a little bit weird when now we have bowl games if you don't make the playoffs.
Oh,
And so
okay.
a lot of teams are expecting us to make a bowl game, but we made the playoffs. And we lost in the first round. It wasn't pretty, but we made it. And I think that was the goal going into the season. We just wanted to show what we can do. We have a
Right.
super young team. We have a bunch of juniors coming back. So I'm super excited. And me and the head coach have been talking. He really likes what I was doing. I was always in the booth. Even when I was coaching on the freshman level, I was in the booth telling him the defenses, what we should run.
Right.
And he really was impressed. And so now I'm just full time varsity QB coach,
Okay.
and then offensive. There's no specific role, but I'd like to say like an offense. I like to say offensive strategist. You can call it offensive coordinator. You can call it what you want.
Sure.
But I'm the one in the booth telling him what the defense is running, what I see, what plays we should run, what we should line up for. And I think it's just between me, the head coach, and the quarterback. I think we have a really good bond going on,
Yeah.
and really excited for what's going on. And the quarterback, he's amazing. He's going into his senior year. He's a great guy. I think he's gonna be a stud at the college level wherever he goes, and super excited. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's cool. Those as a an offensive coordinator and head coach, your eyes in the booth are super important, right? Whether it doesn't matter what kind of offense you run. If you run the ball 100 times a game or if you throw the ball 100 times a game, right? That guy up there is important because he can tell you just like you described. Hey, the defense is giving you one high. The defense is hey, they're bringing boundary pressure every time we're in this formation. Hey, they're lining up in cover three, but rolling to whatever every time we're in this formation. So that guy to me that guy is super important. Um, and as a again, like I said, as a head coach and a coordinator, I put a lot of I don't just throw anybody up there, right?
Hmm.
Like it's not just
Yeah,
a spot that I want to put coach Coach Bob because Coach Bob is annoying on the sidelines, right? It's I don't
yeah.
want that. It's got to be somebody that you trust. It's got to be somebody that's important. It's got to be somebody that you can count on when it's nut cutting time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a huge honor for him to automatically put me in game one, week one. He didn't I never really showed him what I knew. I
Yeah,
always knew that I knew the game at a high enough level where I could know I knew the basics at least once I first started coaching, and then I really started to fall down the rabbit hole as most coaches do of just learning
yeah,
as can. And the biggest hump was at a early age when I was in sixth grade, seventh grade, I was always learning coverages. It was coverages, man, zone, cover three, cover six. What's the difference? The biggest hump I had to get over was coming from a quarterback. You don't really learn a lot of fronts and stunts because
hmm
a part of the run game. And so I had to really harp into that. And so it took a couple months where I was just learning everything I could about what the defensive line was doing, their stunts, what was the box. And it was really amazing for me to see. Ordered a lot of books, a lot of
yeah,
and I really just wanted to get that down because there's a whole different side to defense. It's not just coverages, it's also the front seven.
right,
The,
right.
it's what they do. And so once I got that down by the season, that was the biggest part of why we had a lot of success was that we were able to figure out the run game halfway through the second half of the season, which allowed us to win more games than we were expected. And it was an amazing first year in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's it's I always want to be learning and that kind of brings me to my next question. You talk about learning, talk about teaching. Um, as a social media junkie myself, how did the TikTok get started, right? So, for those of you guys that don't know, you run the coordinator's cut. It's a great. For TikTok's hard. I'm still learning how to use TikTok. So like, if people follow me, I don't always follow back. So I just finally followed you back because for some reason, you'd followed me and I never paid attention. But I've seen your stuff come up. Like I've seen it and like on my For You page and things like that. It's you obviously you take clips or big plays or
Mm-hmm.
something and kind of put your coaching spin on it, put your critique on it. But how did that get started for you? And have you found you got a bunch of followers and a bunch of likes? Is it something you're going to keep going? And again, give me that whole background.
Man, so it really just started because I went on Twitter and I found a coach, Coach Croyle. He
Hmm.
was offering college tape, and I was like, you know what? It was like $30. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll buy it. I just want to look at college film, and I was watching it. And I
I'm
was
I'm a member. I'm a member of that too. Johnny's
yeah,
awesome. I
it's
love all the
amazing.
stuff
It's
Johnny puts
amazing.
out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so I was watching it, and I was like, you know what? Like, this is something I think I could break down. And I saw some breakdowns on TikTok, and I was like,
Hmm.
I'm honestly, it was during the dead period, and California has a dead period, 2 weeks.
Right.
Um, and so I was bored. I was like, I had to find a way around the boredom by not just scrolling on Instagram and going through the death scroll. So I was
Right.
like, you know what? Let me post this. I just want to get it out there, and maybe it's something I can continue doing because I like sharing what I know. I want people to learn, and I posted it, and it got 1,000 views, and it felt good. And
Hmm.
then I just kept doing more and more, and it kind of just became something where it was a it was a it was a healthy reason for me to watch film that had nothing to
Sure.
do with my high school. And then once season started, I obviously took a break. I didn't do it. I was too invested in our high school season to watch anything
Yeah.
from NFL. I was obviously still I'm a Seahawks fan, so I was still super intrigued with how our season was going, but I was never watching film like I do now.
Yeah.
And so now I just got back into it and I'm doing it more and more. And I kind of just, and then I kind of just stopped caring about what the views were and how many likes I got. And I really just started doing, I just enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
I enjoy being like a part of something that could help someone get to the next level. I enjoy helping people learn, even if it's something simple, like
Yeah.
cover seven posse, like something simple, like something like that may not mean something to someone, but it could mean something to someone else. And
Right.
it was just something that I just enjoyed doing, and I'd never really wanted to do it for the clicks or for the views. So
Right. No, I think again, it's awesome. Um I've done some things like that on Twitter before.
Hmm.
It's hard though, right? Like you got
Yeah.
to really devote a lot of time to it. And I'm kind of the same way you are. I go through these lulls of like, hey, it's the season. All right, I got to back off a little bit, or hey, now it's clinic season. Like I'm gonna get to it. But um, it shows. I love that kind of stuff because again, like you said, it's a different perspective for people.
Hmm.
It's maybe some terminology they don't know or haven't heard or are new to. But at the end of the day, like you said too, it's watching some film and enjoying it.
Yeah.
I did that once. Oh gosh, this was like winter spring of 2019, going into spring. I started actually getting like a yellow note a legal pad and started padding games. So I got like
Yeah.
I was again same thing. I was sitting at school. I was working. I was teaching. And it was a very unique teaching setting. So I had a lot of downtime,
Yeah.
and I was on Johnny's page.
Yeah.
And I started to watch it was Baker Mayfield Oklahoma tape.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
because they
Yeah.
were running like a ton of GT
Yeah.
counter, and so I started to pad. So I've got so now again, I was starting to pad and then I got hired at a new job, so it kind of got lost in the shuffle. But somewhere I've got like three-quarters of an Oklahoma game on a legal
Yeah.
pad that I just padded the entire thing and put like down and distance, what the motions, all that kind of stuff. But again, same thought
Yeah.
process of like let's learn something new and then I can show it, talk to somebody else and teach them something new different as well.
That's just what I love about football is that
Yeah.
every game you will learn something. There's no doubt about it. Whether it's the smallest thing, how something's blocked, and how something is shown in the coverage, what shell they're running. It's the smallest thing you can learn, but every single time you watch film, you end up learning something that you wouldn't have if you didn't. And I think
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's the best sport in the world, and I
Yeah.
always say that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm not gonna. You won't get any argument from me on that one. I love it as well. So last question I got for you, and then I'll get you out of here, man. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your Seahawks victory. What if you could put a Mount Rushmore of offensive linemen together from guys maybe you played with back in the day, guys you've coached in your young career, guys that you just are a major fan of, who would be on that five-man offensive line?
Um, okay, so the first one I have to start off with is our center. For this upcoming year, his name's Tyler Quadra. He's just an amazing human being. He's one of the people that you put him at any position, he will know the position. He
Yeah,
tells every single offensive lineman to what they're blocking, what their job is. He knows the slide protection. He knows what front he needs to go through. And
yeah.
he's just an amazing person. He off the field, on the field, and I just got to give kudos to him. He's one of the best people I've ever coached. And
That's awesome. I love to hear that, man.
and and then I got to give Walter Jones
Okay, thank God.
credit. Yeah, I got
If
it.
you didn't throw Walter Jones on there, you and I were gonna have a conversation off air, and I was gonna give you a talking to. So that's good. Good, Walter Jones.
I I I I really I can't say that I was able to watch him because I was 3 or 4 when he was in
Right.
front. I've always watched clips of Sean Alexander, and then there's always Walter Jones on the
Yeah.
left side. And he never. It looked like he never missed a block. He knew exactly what he was doing every single time. And
Well,
it was,
and the great part about Walter Jones too is that every year, like once he got to like year 7 or 8, he would sit out all of training camp. And he would show up like week 1 and just be an all pro. Like he
yeah,
would like that was like maybe not every year, but there was like a running gag. Like he had like for like 3 or 4 years at the end of his career, he would just sit out training camp and then show up and be an elite football player. It was
yeah.
it was awesome.
Third one I gotta give is Zach Martin. So growing up, my stepdad, who unfortunately passed away, he was a big Cowboys fan. So I
Hmm.
grew up in a Cowboys household most of the time. It was always him. It was always Zach Martin. He was
Yeah,
always doing so. Him and Travis Frederick, I remember, were the two people that were always just in. They were their duo blocks, their deuce, their Debo. It was amazing. It was just
yeah,
something incredible to see. Zach Martin, he just had something else about him. You knew that he was gonna get it done.
yeah.
My fourth person, oof, it's hard. It's Trent Williams. I
Okay.
mean, I gotta say Trent Williams. I mean, it might be a little bit of recency bias because I've watched so much of him, but I just know every single time we have to play Trent Williams, something's gonna happen. But yeah, it's just the same thing. It's just he knows what he's doing, and he
Yeah.
He's just he just everything about him is just like music to my like just everything is just amazing.
Yeah.
Um, fifth one. I
Yeah,
mean,
you got one more.
it can go up to a couple of people. I'm thinking Marshall Yonda could be one.
Good.
Um, Joe Thomas. I think those two are probably
Okay.
top.
I'll give you a tie. Those
Yeah,
guys can be a tie, yeah.
I think it's just people I grew up. It's recency bias, right? I would say Anthony Munoz, but I wasn't able to watch him much, you know. But
I tell you what though, man, that's the beauty of like social media and like YouTube and
yeah,
like go watch those guys. Go watch some Anthony
mhm.
Munoz stuff. Another great Seahawk. Go watch some Steve Hutchinson stuff.
Yeah, Steve
Like
Hutchinson, amazing.
those guys again, it's the beauty of what we do as coaches and the beauty of what
Yeah,
you and I are doing with like social media and things. Like you
yeah,
can go find those clips. You could probably I would bet if you go into a deep dive enough on YouTube, I bet you could find some full game clips and stuff
but yeah, that's what I'm
and
gonna do
look
right
at
now.
those because it is, but like you said at the beginning, it's such a unique thing because you were a quarterback, you gravitate towards the passing game.
Hmm.
Now go back and watch some of those old even the films that uh maybe played in and just watch the front seven, right? Now you can just have you know what goes on everywhere else. Now you can just focus on that other piece and again learn as much as you can. So that's the beauty of all of this stuff that's out there now at the tips of our fingers.
One last thing before we finish up, because you said I have a question for you, if that's
Oh
okay.
yeah. I forgot you did say that. Yeah, for sure.
It's a question I've kind of. It's the perfect question to ask you. You've obviously coached for a while in a high level, so you've seen a lot of defenses like Brian Flores and Mike McDonald where they show
Yeah,
a bunch in the front, right? It's a simulated pressure. You don't know who's coming. They might double mug the A gap. They might have
right.
off the edge if they bring seven up to the line. How have you found a way to adjust the slide protection where they don't know where you're sliding and where it's not confusing? Because I tend to see a lot of teams like do Lucy or Ricky, and then it's like, okay, they might know where you're sliding, right? And then they'll just
Right.
blitz from where you're not. So how have you
Right.
found a way around that?
I think it plays to the quarterback strengths a little bit. Like this is where the quarterback has to become involved because from the offensive line standpoint, it's about consistency and not
Mhm.
confusing. Like don't don't get out there and be like, hey, I'm going to call Lucy, but really I mean Ricky. You know,
Yeah,
don't do things that confuse guys. I think there is some merit to letting that center call some things. You know, maybe not at the high school level, but maybe as they get a little bit, D3 or D above and all that college level, but play to the quarterback's strengths. Like let him know, like, hey, in this protection, you're hot to the Sam, or in this protection, you're hot to the Buck, or you're hot to the Will Backer. So keeping things consistent. Obviously for me at the high school level now, we don't see that kind of stuff. Like where I am now, I'm not saying you don't see it.
I don't
Uh,
see much. Yeah,
But yeah, so even when I was coaching D3, we didn't see a lot of double mug. We'd see some sim stuff, some creeper stuff, but not a lot. Not enough that we ever went into a week and we're like, oh crap, we don't know what to do here.
yeah.
So I would say keep consistent as possible with the offensive line and your terminology, and then play to the quarterback strengths. Play to the strengths of the receivers you got. If you've got a slot guy that runs a really good slip route, hey, we're gonna call protection there because we know if that Sam comes, we're gonna hit that slip route. So play to the your players, their strengths, and also as you break down film, there's gonna be some sort of tendency.
Yeah,
Defenses, it doesn't matter. Great, Brian Flores even's gonna have some tendencies, right?
yeah.
There's gonna be some tendencies that somebody will be able to pick up, and you'll know where if hey it's 3rd and 10, they double mug, they're always bringing the right guy, so you can slide to the left and or you can slide to opposite or whatever, and you're gonna be okay.
Hmm.
So there's yeah, find that consistent piece and play to the strengths of your players. And also, who cares if they know where you're sliding? They still got to get through. They
Yeah,
still
yeah,
got to make a play. If you're protecting with 6, the quarterback's got to know he's got the 7th. So there's lots of different variables at play for us offensively to combat that defensive chess game.
man, that's amazing. Thank you. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
For sure. No,
I,
I'll talk offensive line stuff all day long, man. You can't get me going. You gotta
I,
put a plug in me somehow. So,
I love it. I love it.
um, well, dude, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Great talking to you. Love the enthusiasm and passion for that you got for coaching. I hope you stick with it forever.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Um, Before we get out of here, do me a favor. I know you're not big on Twitter, but drop the TikTok handle that everyone can find you at and give you a follow.
Yeah. You can find me at Coordinator's Cut on TikTok. And it might not be a consistent posting, but when I do post, I feel like it's for a reason. I feel like it's to really just show something that is important and something that's trending.
Awesome. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on, dude. Let's don't be a stranger. You got my number now. Reach out whenever you need anything. And best of luck this upcoming year, man.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, take care.
Yeah.